Welcome to the Unarmored Talk Podcast, where we remove the armor, have real conversations, and strengthen how you think and respond to life. If you'd like to support this show and our nonprofit mission behind it, please consider joining my YouTube channel as a member. The lowest level is like $2 a month or something like that, but it makes a world of difference. The YouTube channel and this podcast combined has raised over $3,000, and all of that money has been donated to Still Serving Incorporated. If you want to learn more, go to www.stillinc.com. I'm your host, Mario P. Fields, and today the show's been blessed with another guest. His name is Steve Maynor Jr., and he is a retired United States Marine. He achieved the rank of Master Gunnery Sergeant. That's what I'm talking about. And then he's also a current full-time communication professor at Davidson-Davie Community College and more. But I'm going to let him tell you guys a little bit more about himself. Steve, what's up, man?
Hey, Mario. Good to be with you, man. Thank you for the opportunity to be on this podcast where we will have some real conversations about everything related to me and my transition and how that works. Yeah, man, I am a retired Marine, did 23 years and some change. Current full-time communications instructor, like you said, here at the community college level. I found my happy place. This is where I think I'm supposed to be because I get a chance to continue to pour into and serve my students, serve the faculty, the staff here at my school, just like I served Marines during my career. I'm just excited to share something that I think may help somebody who has gone through the transition from uniform to this side, or somebody who is about to go through that transition and feeling anxiety and all kind of uncertainty about, man, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. And just for everyone who's watching, especially those who have never served, Steve reached the highest rank that you could achieve in the Marine Corps, which in the civilian sector, it's equivalent to a C-level consultant in hiring that. Now, people would think that the sergeant major is a higher rank, but don't get it twisted, everybody. I worked for people like Steve, and I would tell you guys before we get to the main show, the Marine Corps didn't need a sergeant major. They wanted one. They needed a master gunnery sergeant. So I thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have a job. Let's get right to it.
All right.
You mentioned helping people from the military to civilian, even civilians. I mean, this is applicable to any professional. But for you're at 23. You're approaching 23, and you're starting to transition out after 2 decades plus of serving as a Marine. And from my basic understanding, at that moment, you didn't really understand the fundamental difference between the position and rank and skills, and how those two are different when you transition, and how if you don't separate those two, what kind of anxiety, depression, and things can happen.
Yeah.
Walk me through it, man.
All right. So this journey, Mario, started back at about the midpoint of my career. I'm fresh off the depot, 11 years in the Marine Corps. I'm meritorious gunnery sergeant, under 10. Go back to the fleet after drill instructor duty, feeling the highest of the highs. And then I go back to the fleet. I got fortunate enough to be assigned to a master gunnery sergeant, Bob Organo, old maintenance chief, 30 plus years. And this guy challenged me to think about life after the Marine Corps at the midway mark in my career. I was like, wow, why is he doing this? Bob was working on his second master's degree. And he asked a question one day that I didn't have an answer to. And he said, how are you going to take care of your family when you take off the uniform? And I'm like, I still got a long way to go. And he's like, yeah, but you need to start planning now. And if education isn't a part of the answer, you're on the wrong path.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is humbling. because all I could see tunnel vision wise was how am I going to get promoted to the next rank? Not
Mm-hmm.
thinking beyond when you take the uniform off. And at some point, every service member is going to take the uniform off. He challenged me and forced me to start off duty education. And once that happened, I was addicted. And now I'm a lifelong learner. Started that journey. Fast forward a couple of degrees. Uh,
You guys, I just want to make sure everyone heard that. A couple.
three specifically, all paid for by TA.
That is awesome, man.
No student loans, none of that stuff. I maxed out TA every chance I get. And fast forward, I get the third degree, start teaching, adjunct teaching. Little did I know adversity was going to come at me in the form of multiple knee surgeries.
Mm.
I planned on doing 30 years. I got promoted to Master Guns right a little short of 20. And my career was interrupted. My plan was to stay in, do 30. Knee surgery said, you probably need to stop right now. Mind you, I was teaching already. So I had a second life outside of the uniform. Now I got to transition out. And even with a solid plan in place, I still felt lost.
Mm.
Like, what am I going to do? Because I'm counting numbers, I'm counting income, I'm counting my bills, and I'm like, I'm gonna need a job. Like this ain't gonna be enough. Disability is not guaranteed until you get your final VA rating. So
Mm.
I'm thinking numbers, and I'm really sweating and pressing. Like, what am I gonna do? And it took my wife to say, you know, you're teaching, right? You're already doing that. So what are you afraid of?
Mm.
And it was one of those exhale moments where I had to think, okay, you're right. I do have the ability to teach, and I could probably teach full time. So that helped somewhat until I start applying for jobs and realizing these people don't care nothing about none of my military stuff. All this 23 years, all this stuff on my fitness reports for my OMPF on the application, they want to know why should we hire you as an educator, not what you did in the Marine Corps. And that was kind of humbling. You know, I'm filling out my resume or my CV, and I got to eliminate all of that military stuff into like one line.
We would you say, Steve? You had 6-star achievement statements, and then they were like, "That's a little bit too much. Go give me some coffee. We only need one, and we needed 9 words or less."
Yeah.
And it's interesting you mention this because not a lot of people have a parallel job to when they're on active duty, and it's interesting how you were already in. Let's just go ahead and say it scientifically. Your passion with helping people through teaching,
Yeah.
and your identity was so strong to the Marine Corps that it literally clouded your ability to cognitively recognize you were already transitioning, and it took your wonderful wife to highlight that. What do you think it was that allowed you to stop, listen to her, and go, "What the hell? I'm
Ther-
already, I'm already
Therapy.
okay." Yeah,
Therapy helped.
nice.
I had a problem. I had a listening problem. Not a
Mm,
listening problem at work in my professional life, not a listening problem in my social life with my friends. I had a listening problem in my personal relationship with my
mm.
wife. I was terrible, terrible. And it didn't register to me until I started going to therapy because I
Mhm.
needed therapy once these knee surgeries started coming up. And now I'm dealing with these emotions of all of this transition that I was going to have to go through that I didn't have the ability to deal with. So I started going to therapy and I started revealing things to my therapist about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And long story short, my wife shows up to a session and she reveals to the therapist how terrible of a listener I am. And I'm like, Now the therapist is piling on. And I'm like, okay, this is I'm gonna just have to sit there and take this because it really forced me to ask myself, are you a good listener? Especially with your wife? And the answer was no. So at that point, I started telling her, I started letting it out
Yeah.
and just sharing with her everything that I had going on in my head about the struggles that I was feeling, making the transition from being at the top of the top to now transitioning
Mhm.
from the top of the top and having to go somewhere and earn my place. Not
Yeah.
expecting to go in from master guns and then go into this teaching world and be in charge. Like, nah, dude, you don't have no credentials to be in charge. What can you do for us here
Yeah.
when you're
And that,
not in a leadership role?
right.
Can you conform? Can you play by the rules? Are you a good team player? And that was humbling.
Stephen, that's powerful. And thanks for, again, removing your armor, because active listening is different than listening. And what you highlighted is how you took the initiative to go to therapy, which there's sometimes a bad stigma tied to therapy.
Yeah,
I disagree with that belief system. It is very productive, as you just highlighted. But to go into therapy, taking the initiative, and then to self reflect. I mean, again, that's another just amazing skill that you demonstrated to self-reflect, to to not react to your emotions as you feel like everyone's suplexing you, and and to realize that you were already in an occupation, a field that you are actually better suited for at this season of your life.
yeah,
Now that you are, because and everyone, this is not Professor Maynor's first job. He's got you can go on his LinkedIn profile, check out his bio. But now that you've been doing this for quite some time, you've gotten past that. When I'm Professor, Master Guns is third or fourth, Professor's first, and you've got through that therapy. You're still working on yourself. What significant changes have you seen in your the way you think, your belief system, and the lens and ears that you look and listen to your lovely bride?
yeah. I can't stress enough the importance of having a good partner that you could trust with your vulnerabilities, and they're gonna be completely honest with you. And my wife has been totally and completely honest with me, and she forces me all the time to think about what I'm doing before I get into it. Now that I know I can let my guard down and be vulnerable with her, it's so relieving to
Mhm.
know that I could go to somebody and talk to for a sanity check and say,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing, or this is how I'm feeling about this particular thing. And I need a sanity check. And she is brutally honest with me. Nope, you shouldn't do this. Or don't overthink it. You're
Mhm.
naturally good at what you do. Just embrace it. And uh, that turned into now she is a full-time faculty member here at the same school,
Oh wow.
teaching nurses and CNAs. So she encouraged me to dive headfirst into
Wow.
teaching. And then that turned into now her teaching as well. So it was a perfect blend of each one of us listening to the other and giving good advice about where we can make the most impact in our profession in that discipline. So,
Man,
yeah,
that is, listening to your story, Steve, for the first time, remind me of Oprah, where sometimes it takes an unexpected external factor to actually get you to go into something that's a true passion with
yeah,
your natural abilities and interests.
yeah,
Because again, her story when she started off as a broadcaster and then now look, I see you when I see you as a professor compared to a master gunnery sergeant. Your impact on those students every semester, just the moment I've met you, is beyond the reach of an active duty um, master gunnery, and your reach is global. So
yeah,
good on you,
man.
good on your wife. Congrats. And if you had to give yourself one piece of advice, if you were standing next to yourself before you met Bob. At 18 years old, I'm going to take you back.
Yeah.
And you were standing next to yourself. You were sitting in the car at a red light. What one piece of advice would you give young Steve?
Off-duty education.
Awesome.
You got to be as passionate about off-duty education as you do your time wearing a uniform. Had I started when I first joined in the mid 1990s, how much further I could have been. That's what I would tell myself. And that's, I translated what I would tell myself into what I actually told young PFCs, Lance Corporals who checked in to the squadron. Off-duty education wasn't optional. That's a part of your evaluation.
That's awesome.
You got to go. The TA money is out there. You are going to use it, and I'm going to accommodate your ability to leave work and go to class if that needs to be. So if I got to take the trash out and sweep or vacuum the floor, you go to school, I'll do that. Setting that type of example for them has been the most rewarding thing for me, Mario, because now I have those young Marines that I invested and forced to do that, also graduating with bachelor's, master's degrees, and beyond. So that is the greatest fulfillment that does go outside of the uniform. And I took all of those lessons really, and I translated it over into the professor or the education space. Mm-hmm. I just had to tweak it a little bit and remove myself as this guy up here in charge to somebody who is now a full-time permanent mentor to 90 to 120 students every semester. I mean, what a great opportunity for me to share and pour into that many people, because I didn't have that kind of reach as an active duty master guns, right?
That is the power of life learning. You know, man, I will have you on the show forever, bro. But this has been powerful. And I know, not my belief, I know without a shadow of a doubt, Steve, that every student that you were the professor at Park University, Craven Community College, and Coastal Carolina Community College, and now Davidson, Davidson-Davie. Did I say it right, Davie?
Davidson-Davie.
Davidson-Davie. Let me get it right, everyone. But Davidson-Davie Community College, they will never forget you, man. And they will never forget you. And then the 23 years won't take away of all the Marines and sailors and civilians and, that you came in contact with. I am happy. I don't know how this may sound, but I am happy that your knees and Bob and your wife got you into shaping industry. And I love you, brother. And how can people find you before I let you go?
Man, thank you, Mario. I love you too, brother. And I just again want to say I appreciate the opportunity to be in this space with someone of your caliber. That means a whole lot to me. But people can find me very simple at stevemaynor.com. stevemaynor.com. Take you to my website. You'll see when you go there. There's some things on there that you probably just need to see for yourself. Some things I'm getting involved in outside of this professional role as an instructor or professor. But that's how I'm easy to find. Easy to find.
That is cool. Well, guys, if you guys don't link up with him, shame on you. shame on you, every single one of you, man. Well, you've been great, my friend. And everybody, you guys know the deal. Make sure you guys stay mentally fit, stay focused, and definitely stay grounded in your faith. God bless you all. Until next time, be safe. Take care, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Mario. Take care.